Guys, this is good news for all XRP holders. Guys, as you can see, the Securities and Exchange Commission has dismissed the lawsuit against Ripple executives, which is a stunning capitulation. This is wonderful news for all of the people who have XRP. Ripple is still being investigated by the United States regulator for alleged violations of securities laws, but Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen are no longer facing charges from the administration. The Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States of America voluntarily withdrew charges against Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Executive Chairman Chris Larsen. Both of these individuals had been prosecuted alongside the firm for allegedly breaking securities laws with sales of the XRP cryptocurrency. The judgment was referred to as a stunning capitulation by Ripple in a news statement, and Ripple Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderati referred to it as a surrender by the SEC. The price of XRP has increased by approximately 5, with the majority of the upward movement occurring after the news was made public. Garlinghouse and Larsen were initially charged in late 2020 for allegedly breaking securities laws by marketing and distributing the cryptocurrency XRP. The charges were brought against them in conjunction with Ripple. In July, a federal judge made the decision that the XRP token is not necessarily a security on its face. Additionally, the judge decided that Ripple's programmatic sales of XRP on exchanges did not constitute securities offerings. This decision was a significant success for the cryptocurrency business. The Securities and Exchange Commission was unsuccessful in its attempt to persuade the same court that the finding ought to be reversed prior to the entry of a final judgment in the case in the spring of next year. In a statement, Ripple Executive Chairman Chris Larsen said, "It is a travesty that we were forced to defend ourselves from an ill-advised attack that was flawed from the day it was filed." Larsen was referring to the fact that the attack was filed in spite of the fact that justice was finally vindicated. The acts taken by the government that brought to this situation raise issues regarding the origin and motivation of this litigation. In spite of the fact that it is not obvious what particularly prompted the Securities and Exchange Commission to withdraw charges against Garlinghouse and Larsen as individuals, it is possible that the move was influenced by the agency's recent streak of court losses against Ripple. There was no quick response from the SEC. Rather, the regulatory body is continuing to go forward with its comprehensive case against Ripple. This case has been presented for years as a defining court clash that would determine the future of cryptocurrency regulation in the United States. Ripple's legal battle against the Securities and Exchange Commission has received support from a large number of prominent participants in the cryptocurrency industry, specifically the American cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. Despite the fact that the cryptocurrency sector has interpreted Ripple's recent streak of judicial triumphs as a sign of great encouragement, the value of the cryptocurrency market skyrocketed by $73.05 billion following Ripple's favorable verdict in July. The firm and the cryptocurrency ecosystem as a whole are not yet out of the woods. In July, the judge who was in charge of monitoring the lawsuit that the SEC was bringing against Ripple came to the conclusion that the sale of XRP coins to institutional investors did, in fact, represent prohibited and unregistered securities offerings. Moreover, the Securities and Exchange Commission is now involved in a number of cases against other prominent companies in the cryptocurrency business, such as Tron, Binance, and Coinbase. The entire amount of XRP that was sold to institutional investors was $770 million. However, in order to subtract XRP sales to institutional investors outside of the United States from the $770 million, Ripple will utilize the Morrison and Nab case. There is a possibility that the amount will be much less than Ripple's legal expense of $150 million. The Supreme Court of the United States decided in the case of Morrison versus Nab that the Securities and Exchange Commission only has jurisdiction over sales that are based in the United States. If the settlement is modest, it may increase the likelihood that the SEC will file an appeal against the order regarding programmatic sales. A settlement is a victory that the Securities and Exchange Commission desperately needs. On the other hand, the CC suffered a huge loss as a result of the programmatic sales ruling, which is something that it would most certainly wish to rectify. An agreement that is advantageous to Ripple and XRP would be a positive conclusion for both of them. It would be detrimental to the price of XRP in the market as a whole if the decision regarding programmatic sales were to be appealed. Additionally, Ripple has recently made investments in the field of artificial intelligence and the metaverse which has caused its ecosystem to receive a boost and has contributed to a good sentiment. Ripple Labs was a participant in a series of investment rounds for the metaverse project Futureverse, which promotes the use of XRP and incorporates the XRP ledger into its gaming-focused blockchain. The funding round was worth $54 million. Richie Torres, a Democrat from New York, has increased his criticism of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission for failing to provide any clear guidance to the cryptocurrency business. This comes after the SEC was defeated in its legal battle against Ripple Labs on many fronts. On Tuesday, Torres sent an open letter to Gary Gensler, who is the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, stating that regulation by enforcement had a dreadful day in court. In his wording, he replicates a criticism that has been leveled against the SEC's approach to cryptocurrency for a long time by both industry leaders and fellow members of Congress. The court, who is presiding over the case of SEC and Ripple Labs, delivered a summary judgment opinion last week, stating that the cryptocurrency that the company uses, XRP, is not a security and that sales of the token on secondary markets such as cryptocurrency exchanges are not securities. Gensler expressed his disappointment with the judge's decision, and he stated that the commission is currently looking at it and providing an evaluation of that option. Torres, on the other hand, stated that the chances of the Securities and Exchange Commission obtaining an immediate appeal on the verdict are vanishingly small. This is due to the fact that certain points in the case will require fact-finding, which does take time. For the time being, the precedent that was established by the court, which the congressman refers to as the Torres Doctrine, will be the most important thing. Torres stated that the litigation against Coinbase had a precarious legal footing and that this foundation has now been completely destroyed, as it should have been. A number of other prominent cryptocurrency assets, including as Cardano, Solana, and Polygon, were classified as securities by the Securities and Exchange Commission and in its case against Coinbase in June. In conclusion, the congressman stated, "I am looking forward to learning how the Securities and Exchange Commission will reevaluate its regulatory assault on crypto assets in the light of the Torres Doctrine." Inspector General Deborah Jeffrey and Comptroller General Gene Dotterell both also voiced their disapproval of the SEC's unusual clearance of the cryptocurrency broker-dealer Prometheum on Thursday, requesting an investigation into the matter. That opinion was followed by Torres' letter. In spite of the fact that the path to registration was in reality a bridge to nowhere for other businesses, the politician argued that the approval was nothing more than a case of propagandist theater, which created the illusion of regulatory clarity. Famous analyst Hassan Tyler criticizes the regulatory strategy taken by Gary Gensler, the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, claiming that Gensler did not learn anything from the commission's loss against XRP. Considering that Gensler and the SEC were unsuccessful in their attempt to regulate cryptocurrencies through enforcement actions, one would anticipate that they would adhere to the law and refrain from doing so. Nevertheless, the Securities and Exchange Commission has maintained to adhere to the enforcement-styled regulation, while Gensler has been in charge. Kraken Exchange was charged with breaking securities laws by the Securities and Exchange Commission last month. A total of 16 cryptocurrencies were included on the list of cryptocurrencies that the SEC determined to be securities in the Kraken case. According to Tyler, the failure of the Securities and Exchange Commission to comply with the law has real-world repercussions. According to the analyst, millions of investors in the United States may suffer losses if the concerns regarding the credibility of the Securities and Exchange Commission are not addressed. At the same time, officials from the CC who were in conflict with one another would continue to choose winners and losers. In addition to this, Tyler stressed the importance of the SEC modifying its approach to the regulation of cryptocurrencies. According to Tyler, in the event that the relevant authorities do not alter the leadership of the SEC, Congress needs to become involved by imposing a clear crypto regulatory framework on the CC. This framework should underline the agency's obligations within the growing market. That's all for now.